Welcome back to another episode of the Tigers Minor League Report player interview series. And today we are very pleased to be joined by Michael Massey, the Detroit Tigers' fourth round pick this year, right-handed pitcher out of Wake Forest. Michael, how you doing today?
Doing good. How about you?
Not bad, not bad. Whenever we have somebody on for the first time, we always like to ask about their earliest baseball memory to get a little a taste for what their life was like growing up. And I don't know if you have anything that sticks out to you, but we'd love to hear it.
Earliest baseball memory. That's honestly a hard one. I'd say I can just remember being at the field super young, but that'd be like the earliest memory. But the main thing I think of is like just playing wiffle ball in like backyards. You'd play like every single day with my siblings and like our friends growing up.
Yeah, that was wiffle ball was huge for me growing up, particularly like when I was, I don't know, probably from the age of 5 to 10. I still remember my first home run that I hit with one of those giant Captain Caveman bats. And yeah, we used to play all day, every day. It's really easy and fun. So yeah, that I can relate to that for sure. So yeah, you're it looks like you're outside right now. Are you down in Florida? Or are you back home is it Georgia?
No, yeah, I'm from Georgia, but no, I'm down here in Lakeland. So I'm just on the back patio of the dorm right now. So my
Oh,
roommate's actually asleep
uh-oh.
in our room. So I
Who,
just figured I'd come out here.
who do they have you rooming with?
I'm with Josh Randall.
Okay, that was
Yep.
the third round pick, second round pick.
Third
Round pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting down there. Yeah, I guess we were gonna kind of start back from the beginning. So we said you're from Georgia, but you end up going to Tulane, right, for the first year,
Yes.
and you're starting there, and then you transfer to Wake Forest, and they have you relieving, and then they have you starting again this year. So I'm kind of curious if you want to walk us through all that process.
Yeah. So out of high school, I just loved the Tulane coaching staff. They're great guys. Could tell they really cared about us, and I actually went down there with my best friend. So we both got recruited together. We were together when we committed, so that was really cool. Went there, had a great experience there. Um, Loved all the guys, coaches. School was awesome. And then head coach left the school at the end of my freshman year, and I couldn't really see myself at that school without him there. So I went in the portal, and Wake Forest recruited me. There's Wake Forest and a number of other schools, but the development that Wake pitched to me and said they'd be able to help me with, it's definitely the main reason I ended up there. So that was cool. And then going with starting at freshman year, like I had a pretty good freshman year, nothing too crazy. Had my ups and downs, and then sophomore year went to Wake, and they told me I wasn't going to start, and I was kind of convinced that I would start, but I was wrong. Had a good year out of the bullpen, but kind of always wanted to get back to starting. And then this year, had to start it again. Was a little bit of ups and downs this year because I was hurt the whole time, but no, it's good. I like starting a lot.
Well, yeah. I mean, we were doing your kind of looking you up after you get drafted, and you missed about a month. Is that right with the injury, or is it a little bit less than that?
Yeah, a little bit less. I missed what would have been my fifth start, and then came back and had like a 2 inning outing, a 3 inning outing, another
Gotcha.
4 inning outing, and then kind of pitched for about a month and a half, and then missed like 3 weeks, and then came back out of the bullpen after that because we kind of realized I wouldn't be able to
Ramp back
last
up.
too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of those tough things because obviously you're a competitor, you're out there with your team, you want to win, but you're probably if you're in pro ball at that point, they're probably shutting you down a little bit and ramping you back up so you can get fully healthy. But it's college. I remember a couple years ago, who was it? Nick Madrigal, right? Like broke his hand and then was back like 3 weeks later, and poor Wyatt Langford had a ruptured testicle, I think, and then I was back like 2 weeks later. It's college though; you want to win, right? So I get
Exactly.
it, but
Want to play.
well, yeah, and I mean, you were in one of the most high-profile college baseball games in recent memory last year. I was watching that after they drafted you, and cutting up clips for you, and I'm kind of curious what your memories of that were like. Being there in the College World Series, and you're coming in against facing one of the best lineups in college baseball history, and you shutting them down for 3 innings, I believe it was, in relief. What are your memories like of that?
I mean, it was pretty euphoric overall, the whole experience. I remember, like, obviously you black out a little bit when you're pitching in a moment like that, but I really remember like pacing the dugout. I'd always like pace the dugout in between innings, and I was like looking out on the field, watching us hit in between. I think it was my second and third inning or something. I'm like, wow, this is like the coolest game I've ever watched in my life. And like, I'm in it. I'm like currently in the game. So, I mean, I think it was pretty cool that I was able to step back and appreciate the moment. But no, even looking back on that outing, it's pretty cool to have those memories and watch that outing back.
Yeah, I think when I was watching it, they think that brought you in right away to face Dylan Cruz, I think, and then it was Tommy White after that, and the announcers were like, "Oh, is he gonna? They're actually gonna pitch to Dylan Cruz," and then you go and you strike him out, and it's like, "Yeah, I am."
Yeah, I think we pitched to Cruz and then intentionally walked Tommy White to get to Trey Morgan.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough 1, 2, 3, no matter how you go at it. But that's a certainly fun highlight to watch back.
So in terms of pitches, I mean, you go to the Lake Forest pitching lab, which is known across essentially just this huge epicenter of just pitching development. So how did it help you develop your pitching, just really sequencing or command, or just help you get better overall as a pitcher?
Yeah, no, it definitely. First thing was we had to clean up some things mechanically. I kind of rotated out of plane, so we helped raise my glove side, help that get a little cleaner. But I also needed a better secondary pitch. My freshman year, I kind of lived off my fastball and would show the slider every once in a while to just get people off my fastball and throw more fastballs. Because I never really could get a feel for a slider. Like the year going into college, I was trying to figure out a slider. The whole freshman year, I was trying to figure out a slider and could never really get a shape that we liked or that was good enough, really. And within a week being there, Moose kind of taught me a cue and kind of ran with it. Ended up getting like more feel for it and can manipulate it more. But yeah, finally threw my like first good slider right when I got there, so that was a big deal. And then threw a lot of changeups in the fall of my sophomore year, but didn't really end up throwing it as I got into a reliever role. No, but we also so that's from a pitch design standpoint, kind of gave myself options there. So my fastball has kind of always been good, but then it had a velo jump once we got me in the lab. Kind of realized I was overstriding a little bit, shortened my stride up a little bit, and kind of went from there. I jumped like 3 miles an hour. And, I mean, it was a pretty easy fix. Obviously, I don't think it was easy for them to find, but it was pretty easy for me to do. We just had some physical restraint out in front of me and said, "Don't step on this." So.
Well, yeah, and so it's you also throw a curveball too, right? So you got the 4-pitch mix. I was wondering with your arm slot. I wonder if like a cutter would ever come into the play there, or a split or anything like that, or if you're happy with your 4-pitch mix right now and you can settle down.
Yeah, no, I would definitely. I want to add a cutter at some point. I started messing around with it at the end of the year, but it was kind of too late to introduce a new pitch, and it was also I was coming out of the bullpen by the end of the year, so I was like, all right, a cutter, not the time for a cutter. If I were to do it, it'd be within the next couple of years here with the Tigers if they see it's fit. And the timing, it's really just all about timing. I think I'll be able to add the pitch at some point. It's just when we want to do it. And then also with the splitter, I'm kind of leaning towards doing a split. I feel a Vulcan change right now. That's
nice.
It performs fine, but I'm not sure how much I like it. So that's as I start building my arm back up. That's probably going to be some decisions we're going to make, whether or not we add a cutter now or wait, or we change my changeup into a splitter, and like what are we going to do with that? I think those are a few things we'll get into. Not really sure what we're going to do with that yet.
Well, yeah, and that was kind of the next question. And the way that draft is now, it's there's a pretty long layoff between the end of the college baseball season, or high school for that matter, and then when you get drafted, and now you're back, you're with an organization, and it's like, were you still pitching on the side in between? Are they trying to ramp you back up to pitch in games this year, or is it more just kind of getting your work in?
No, for me, it's just kind of getting back for spring training. Like I said, I was injured during the season. I actually had back surgery the week after the season ended. So tomorrow will be 9 weeks. So I'm just rehabbing and ramping myself back up, taking it slowly. No rush to get back. It should be good by spring training, but just taking it day by day.
So they have you in Lakeland there, just kind of be part of the crew, like meet all the other players and get familiar with all the the organizational stuff. Are you going to be out? Again, I know they're doing this bridge league type thing. Are you going to be out, rooting on the team there, or are you just kind of hanging out and rehabbing?
Yeah, I'll definitely show up to some of the games when the guys I've gotten close with start playing a little bit more. I'll probably go out to the backfields after I'm done rehabbing if the timing's right. But no, I'm excited to watch them play. It'll be cool. Kind of jealous of them a little bit, but just what
Gotta get
happens,
healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you were, down there in Lakeland. I don't know, did Lakeland get hit by the? I know it's inland, but you probably still get a fair amount of rain from that hurricane that was just down there. Was that interesting or?
Yeah, Sunday was a lot, and then Monday's when it hit the worst. I actually, my car broke down, or my battery died on Monday. So me and Jack Penny and my girlfriend was here. We were just driving around town trying to figure out my battery in the pouring rain. So that was a fun day on Monday.
Oh man, yeah, that's the glamorous life of a minor leaguer.
Oh yeah,
like anybody else. Well, I don't know if we put this on the list of questions, but I'm always a little bit interested in your draft day story, or that around the draft, what that process was like, because you didn't get drafted out of high school, right?
No, I did not.
So you end up going in the 4th round. But I'm curious, you see these things where guys get a bunch of phone calls and, hey, will you take this? Will you take that? What was it like for you?
It was kind of slower. I kind of wasn't really sure what to expect, honestly. None of us were really too sure, just because obviously had high expectations going into the year, but I was hurt, coming off a back surgery, so teams can always be a little hesitant to draft someone that's fresh off of surgery. But no, it was pretty chill, and then Tigers called, and it worked out for me.
Right. And from earlier, it sounded like you'd prefer to continue starting. And have they communicated with you that that's what they want you to do, or have they not really told you anything like that yet?
I'm not really sure exactly yet. Kind of focusing on the day to day.
Gotcha. Let's see what else we got, Raj.
No, I think we're good. I mean, I think it's just
non-baseball stuff.
Oh, non-baseball. Oh yeah. There we go. What do you do when you're away from the game to just kill time, or just not necessarily kill time, but just way to relax from the game, kind of take your mind off things to reset yourself and get ready for the next day?
I also just like to read. I read a lot of fiction, nonfiction. I like to read about my faith, stuff like that, and then I also just hang out with the guys, eat and make it easy.
You got any particular books that you're digging right now, like a book series or anything?
I'm third book of Dune right now.
Oh,
so
nice.
There are a lot of those
reading
books.
Children. Yeah, reading Children of Dune right now, and then also a book called Knowing God. It's a theological book that I like a lot.
Interesting.
It's awesome. Yeah, there's especially with I have a bunch of like books from Blade Runner. Do They Dream About Electric Sheep? And I've read that originally, and then I read Dune, the first book of Dune. I haven't read the second two, so I'm just those are pretty monumental. Just from reading those standpoints, comparatively speaking, and to watching that. I actually like reading the books more than I like watching the movies, because get the better story, at least in my opinion. But
yeah, I mean, like 99% of the time, the book's gonna be better. Like I will say this: I never read like comic books as a kid, so seeing those superhero movies works better for me, because I just never got into the comic book format in terms of reading. But I do novels are almost always better.
Yeah, for sure. No, the Dune ones are actually. I actually watched the Dune movies before I read the first book. I'm glad I did, because there's a lot of different vocabulary that I feel like if I didn't watch the movie, I'd just be lost. But so it was nice to get a little visual there, and then obviously there aren't movies for the second and third. But
yeah, I still haven't seen the second movie for the first. I guess that's the first book, right?
Second half.
So I'll have to check that out. Maybe that's my next thing. I did have one more baseball question. And this is just the ACC is always a pretty darn good baseball conference, but it seemed really good this year. A lot of guys who went drafted in the first round, and I'm curious if there was anybody that you thought gave you a particular trouble, like anybody out there that you really were like, oh man, that guy I don't like facing.
Honestly, Florida State was good. Their whole lineup through and through was very good. Honestly, really respected Casey Cook as a hitter. honestly, he didn't get me too bad. We had a conversation about this when I met him. He didn't get me too bad, but watching him face Burns was always that was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen.
Yeah, and that was I mean, it was a must-see TV every time that Chase Burns was out there too. So you got a nice look at that. So, well,
Yeah.
Michael. And I guess there's one other thing is that there's another big leaguer currently named Michael Massey.
Yeah.
How we going to deal with that down the road?
I mean, hopefully we can play against each other. I mean, that's the first goal. I think it'd be really cool to get up and face him. So, wouldn't say too much more than that, but
gotcha.
I'm not gonna clip myself saying something.
Yeah, you don't want to put the cart before the horse. Well, we appreciate you joining us. Good luck with your rehab and get healthy, and we look forward to seeing you out there on the field next year or whenever we get a chance to.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michael.